Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, Shalom, Mikey. We the brothers here from Great Millstone, Atlanta Cap. Got the elder Ratazah and the priest Gamaliel Allah with me today. I'm the brother Tazawam. All right, before we get started, of course, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Also, double honors to the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone who grew and teach well. And peace, salutations, much love to the elect of Israel scattered around the four corners of the earth, that's given our diligence to make the calling of election sure. All right. Tonight we're going to be doing a response to the Elder Yashawamba's video entitled "Leading Yourself is the Best Way to Lead." And it was a beautiful video of exhortation, which is what we should focus on in these latter times, man. You know, exhorting the body, you know, to stay in the faith, admonishing brothers, you know, encouraging and uplifting brothers, you know, to remain rooted. You know, and to even get more rooted, you know, and get your foundation right, man. You know, and a very pivotal part of that is self-examination, you know. And we've done multiple lessons on self-examination, but these lessons continue to recreate themselves through the Spirit because it's still a necessity that we need in these times. We have to focus on self-examination, you know, and that's what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is trying to get us to understand. The obedience of the scriptures. And before we can come into a perfect level of obedience, we have to examine our flaws so that we can be made perfect. Okay. Now we're going to slip. We're going to have times where we're going to do things that's of the flesh, that's not of the spirit. Certain things are going to displease the Lord, so on and so forth. But it's up to us as servants to recognize where we went off at and to correct that and not do it any longer. Now, when I say slip, am I talking about going back to homosexuality or committing adultery? Absolutely not, because you have control over these things, okay? But it's more so an internal battle, you know, a battle between you and the old man. The old man tries to get you to go back to those old desires, and you got to abstain from those things through spiritual exercises, man, okay? So let's start with that. That First Samuel about the shot.
This is 1 Samuel 15:22. It says, "And Samuel said, hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord?"
Right. So what do the Lord delight in more? Sacrifices or just obedience? Go ahead.
Kind of says, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice.
Right. So the Lord delights more in just obedience. All right. So in order for us to understand the obedience of the Heavenly Father, we have to examine, you know, the inward man, the old man that tries to, you know, lure us into the flesh to do things that's carnal. Okay. To perform certain things that's not of the spirit. All right. You might be like Elder Yashawamba said in the video, 80% of your day, you just engulfed in, you know, carnal things, and then 20% of the day or 15% of the day, you know, you get into the spirit of things. Well, you gotta tip the scale. You gotta balance it there. All right. We could all put more into this thing, man. All right. We're called to do great things. The Lord didn't call us to do, you know, subpar things, right? Or the spirit of mediocrity. The Lord called us to do amazing things. But before we can do those amazing things, we have to be more obedient. And the obedience comes in self-examination. All right. We have to understand, like, what is it in my walk that's holding me back that I keep doing on a daily basis? What is it? Am I praying? You know, am I not praying enough? You know, am I not reading? Am I not fellowshipping? You know, am I looking at another brother and his situation more than I'm looking at my situation? You know, you can go down the list and call out an issue or a flaw with every brother, but when it comes down to yourself, you can't examine yourself. That's a problem. And that's a problem that you have to recognize, and you have to deal with it. Okay? So the obedience of it is way better than sacrifice, man. Okay? Holding yourself accountable to what the word says. Because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, he didn't just give us this truth just to know it. He gave us this truth so we can live it. And when you live this truth, you become obedient to the word.
That's right.
That's what living the truth is, the obedience of it, abiding in the spirit of it. When you abide in the spirit of it, you become more acceptable. So it goes beyond just being able to regurgitate what you learn.
Right.
You have to be an actual example of what to be. So when brothers see you, they be like, hey man, that brother right there, man, he embodies that spirit. Ever since I've known him, he's always, been obedient to the spirit. And that's the type of legacy we want to create for ourselves through the obedience.
That's right.
All right, you have something, bro?
Yeah, well, this is a little bit more than
Okay.
It says, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry.
Yeah, rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. You want to say something on that?
Yeah, because basically going into how when you read up in 22, it says, it's better just to obey from the beginning rather than sin and then in that time when you sin, you would have to have a sacrifice. Rather than sin and then you got to turn around and repent, it's better to just do right the first time. Just get it right the first time. Because it says rebellion. Really, when you went off that first time, that was really rebellion. It says, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. That's basically the point. But I got Hebrews 10 and 26 real quick. For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. Yeah, so basically, if you know better, do better. This being a response to the Elder Yashwama's video, he was on point in the spirit, and that we always have to examine the inner man first before we, look outwardly.
That's right. And then if I could add to that precept the brother brought out, and that's going into denying Yahweh Shai after you receive the knowledge of truth. And we're seeing these guys like Malak Shore, what's a guy named Grumpy Knuckles Element, Yardan, and the rest of these individuals that once knew this truth. And then how are they denying the Lord? Through how they obey him.
That's right.
That's how they deny the Lord. They don't obey him. They could quote 1,000,001 precepts, but their obedience is what they're not analyzing.
That's right.
They don't see that they're being disobedient. Because why? Because they already created in their mind that they're of the elect, that they're of the number, that they of that chosen stock. So they got laxed. They fell back from the obedience because they had a preconceived understanding that they were of the elect. Listen, man, we got to earn the victory. The victory is going to be given when we complete the mission. The only way we're going to complete the mission is by a gradual increase of obedience on our daily. Hey, remember the scriptures say the inward man is renewed daily. So we have to make sure that we're working to renew that inward man on every single day. I did a video a few days ago, probably about a week ago, entitled make sure to maintain daily spiritual exercises, man. Doing certain things every day, to take care of your spirit as you would take care of your flesh. You gotta take a shower every day. You gotta eat every day. You gotta drink water. You gotta wash. You gotta put clothes on. Brush your teeth, wash your face, brush your hair, comb your hair, put oil or lotion on. These are all daily carnal habits that we have to do. And there are certain spiritual things that we must do and incorporate on a daily basis in order to renew that inward man. Okay?
That's right.
So we have to make sure that we're not going out willingly. All right? We want to look at these individuals as examples of what not to do and who not to be. And take that as an actual, warning.
That's right.
You got to look at these dudes as a warning, man.
Right.
You want to say something?
Yeah, because in the truth, you're going to have good examples and bad examples. You got to take heed to both. You see men, and you got the apostles and elders as examples of men, how to walk in the spirit, the brothers that's over you in different camp heads and whatnot. These are examples that you're supposed to take heed to. Dang, I want to follow after that spirit. That's the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Then you got you know, those those bad examples, and you gotta take heed to that too, man. All right, I'm not gonna do that. You know, that person did this and that.
Right.
Hey, that's violation of the scriptures. Hey, I don't want to follow that example either, man. Yep. And brothers brought that word rebellion, which I believe goes to basically making war with the Most High, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the word rebel goes back to war. And you know what the scriptures say about evil man that seeketh only rebellion, man. You know that evil angel gonna be sent against him. So your fear game gotta be up too, man. Because like Elder Yashoma mentioned in that video, man, it's a scary thing, man. Here it is, one minute, you know, Jake is on fire, and the next thing you know, he just ate him spirits on him, man. Yeah. You know, so that's an example that you want to not be, man. You know? That's right, brother.
I got something real quick.
Yeah,
this is 1 Timothy 4 and 16. You know, whoever else can break it down. Okay. It says, take heed unto thyself.
Yeah, take heed to thyself, man. You know, like brothers always say that you're your biggest enemy in this truth, man. You know, you got to take heed to yourself, which goes to what? Examining yourself, man. You know, looking at the man in the mirror, you know, first and foremost. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. It says, take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine.
And unto the doctrine. You know, what the teachings, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, going back to the scriptures, what did the scriptures say? What did the scriptures say? You see these guys, these different examples of these fallouts, these bug outs.
They didn't take heed to the doctrine.
They didn't take heed to the teachings.
Because if they took heed to the teaching, they wouldn't be talking about it's okay to get tattoos.
Exactly.
It's okay to get lineups.
Right.
Justifying that it's okay to get lineups. It's okay.
We don't need leaders.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't take heed to the doctrine, obviously, because at one point in time they was teaching it. They was admonishing Israel not to do these things.
Right.
Now all of a sudden they're teaching it. And why is that? Because they didn't take heed to it.
That's right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Continuing on, it says, and continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee.
That's right. They say to continue in it, man. You know, not just go for a couple of years. You know, go for the 6 months. You got to continue in it, man. Mm-hmm. And that's part of that. That's part of that fight, that race, man. Again, just to go back to the one we said in that video, man. It's truth, you know, Jake get tired of the discipline of his word. You know, you get tired of bearing that yoke and always being under instructions and order. Yep. And Jake get tired and they start wilding out, man.
Yeah, they start separating themselves from brothers. You know, they stop being lively.
Yep.
Their main focus is their hell. All right, just worrying about what they're going through and not worrying about, you know, being action-based and getting out of the situation. You know. They soak in their sorrows. They don't come up. They don't listen to counsel. You know, they come up with a idea to please themselves because they don't want to go through the process of obedience. They don't want to go through the process of discipline to prove to Yahweh Shema Shai that you're worthy to be of their number. And that's what the Lord is separating us through the obedience. You have God. You have a plethora of men that know this truth and they're not obedient for shit. Okay, and you can see it in how a man works, how a man responds to doing the work, and how a man responds to correction and counsel. You can see how obedient a man is. Mm-hmm. And these are the things that Yahweh Shema Shai is looking for, because he's not holding us accountable to the law. He's holding us accountable to the obedience and faith.
Right.
Okay, so if you believe in Yahweh Shema Shai, then you're going to follow the guidance that Yahweh Shema Shai gives you through counsel, through correction, through exhortation, through admonishment. You're gonna give heed to that so that you can be more obedient in your walk. And that's what Yahweh Shema Shai is trying to get us to understand, to obey. Listen, nigga. Mm-hmm. Listen. I'm trying to get you to understand what I'm telling you, but you ain't listening. You're doing what you want to do. And when you do what you want to do, that's symbolic of the flesh. The flesh is when we do what we want to do. When we do what we don't want to do, that is the spirit. Because the flesh is telling you not to do it, but the spirit is telling you to do it. So you have to follow the spirit. Okay?
That's right.
You had something about?
Yep. It's a short one, but it's a good one. This is the book of Haggai, chapter 1, and verse 7. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. You know, yeah, and go right with the topic, man. Consider your ways, man. Going back to what? Taking heed unto yourself. You know, we both might get that later in what's that, 2 Corinthians 13, you know, about examining yourself. You gotta every day, man, you gotta consider your ways, man. You know, and sometimes you can get like you mentioned, you can get lost sometimes. You just focusing on the next brother, you know, you giving into the flesh too much. You know what I'm saying? Just like, damn, I ain't, you know, you gotta go, hold on, man. I ain't ready, you know. Yeah, I need to link up with that brother, man. You gotta consider every day, what are you doing? Because hey, man, the Lord can have your number, man. And that's the fear part of this truth. That fear should kick in, like, damn, man, let me snap out of it, man. Because like you mentioned, you gonna fall. You gonna like, damn, you know, I fucked up. You know, you pray, you repent.
You might fall in the same area 5-6 times.
Yeah, that's right.
But as long as you acknowledging that you failed and that you still trying to get out of it. Because the scripture said, "A righteous man falls 7 times and get thee back up again." Roughly paraphrasing. So you're gonna fall. And sometimes you're gonna fall and do the same things over and over again. But what the Lord is trying to get us to understand is the mistake that we're making, and not to do it any longer, so you could be better.
Right.
He's trying to make us better.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the importance of leading yourself. You know, lead yourself. You know when you ain't doing what you should be doing, man.
That's right.
You know when you could be better. You know your potential, man. You know your spirit, your intent. You know if you got guile in your spirit and if you don't, man. Okay? So it's up. The Lord is leaving it up to us to identify our problem areas so we can become better. That's all. All right. Now, if you don't want to acknowledge and identify your weakness, then you're not hurting anybody else but yourself. That's the only person you're hurting. If I don't acknowledge my weak point within myself, I'm not hurting this brother.
That's right.
All right. I'm not hurting this brother. So these guys that come back with these, try to come back and get their lick back, like Elder Yashawama said, they go on this whole vendetta marathon. You're hurting yourself. You're doing yourself a disservice because you're forgetting that the battle is within. You're thinking that the battle is with Great Millstone.
Yeah.
Right. You know, you're thinking that the battle is with Apostle Hard. The battle is you.
Forsaking their self. Like the brother said, take heed to thyself. You know, I got something real quick.
Okay, you want to get it?
No, it's cool. It's Romans 13 and 14. It's a quick one. But put ye on the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Yeah, so basically, like the Elder Tazwan was saying a few minutes ago, basically going into that flesh. All right, that flesh will kick in, and you know, then you just totally forsaken what you need to be focused on. You know, like brothers are saying, your flesh is your main enemy. So that's the main thing you should attend to. And the main thing you should really, keep in check. You know, not other men's affairs and, hey, because that flesh, you always going to do what your flesh, I mean, your flesh is going to pull you in one direction. But brothers are going to basically tell you, look, you should do it this way. And if you don't do it that way, then that's you're making provision for the flesh.
Yeah.
You're fulfilling the lust of the flesh.
You're following after your flesh. And these are the things that Jake don't want to hear. That's why they separate themselves from the camps, because they don't want anybody else telling them that you following the flesh.
Right.
They don't even want their own mind, because a lot of these dudes, their own mind be condemned. So what do? They break away from the camp, and then they create justification scenarios to justify the flesh. The whole premise behind Malakshar not being able to do what he wanted to do was over a woman.
Yeah,
he wanted his woman, so he moved around and he did whatever he wanted to do over his woman. So he made a provision for the flesh. Okay, but we can't make provisions for the flesh. All right, we have to be obedient when Yahweh Bashim Shah tell us to do certain things. All right, remember the scriptures say what? Mortify therefore the deeds of the flesh.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I'll get that after you. You got it, brother Lamar.
Yeah, well, that was it. But just to while you're getting that, mortify the deeds of the flesh. That means basically, because scriptures go into mortifying your members, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to basically, put the flesh in check. Your spirit has to outweigh your flesh, man. You got to be able to basically, say no. I'm a, put yourself in check and say and go with what the spirit is saying.
I got you, bro.
God, yeah.
This is Romans 8:13. For if we live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah, so the word mortify means to, matter of fact, I just get it, for the sake of edification. The word mortify here, all right, and it's from Greek.
Strong's G 2289,
Thanatao, which kind of sounds like Thanos. And it says to put to death, to make to die, destroy, render extinct, by death to be liberated from the bond of anything. So that means we want to basically destroy the flesh. Now, is that talking about physically destroying your flesh, cutting your wrists and shit? No, it's not what it's talking about. That's going into not giving in to the lust of the flesh. All right. Good and damn well you're supposed to do a lesson a day with brothers and you go to sleep because you're tired. Right. We'll take a supplement and get up and go do that lesson. All right. Good and damn well you're supposed to get to camp today, but you created an excuse on not to get to camp because your back hurt, because your head hurt. That's right. Because your chest hurt, because you're about to faint. So you use that as an excuse to justify the flesh. All right. But we gotta mortify it. That's right. All right. The lust of the flesh is dangerous, man. That's a dangerous place to be. Yeah. You want to give in to your flesh. Jake missed opportunities to be around brothers and grow spiritually, all to get one off with a chick, man. Or to be sitting up under his goddamn woman and kids all goddamn day. And brothers over here growing in the spirit, and you over there playing fucking patty cake. Yeah, patty cake with the punani. Or you fucking around acting like you fucking Carl Wins goddamn low, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this ain't family matters, man.
Right.
All right. The family that matters is the men that's laboring. All right. The brothers, man. Mm-hmm. All right. Those sincere women that's really taking heed to the spirit of things. That's the family that matters, man.
That's right.
Everything else is second. Comes secondary.
That's right.
This is primary.
That's right.
So if we mortify the deeds of the flesh, we'll be more obedient when the Spirit tells us to do certain things, man. And the Lord can use us for a greater purpose.
That's right.
To do magnificent things with this ministry if we become more obedient. Mm-hmm. The brothers tell you to get up off your ass and do this and do that. Do this and make sure you're taking care of that and boom, and do all these things. If you don't do it, the reason why you're not doing it, the reason is always going to be carnal. Yeah. It's never going to be, it's like I wasn't able to do it because I was doing a lesson. Right. You ain't never going to give it a spiritual excuse. Right. Your excuses is always going to be some carnal shit. Yeah, that's right. And that's why we gotta get away from that carnality, the flesh, because it's going to lead you down a path of destruction. Okay.
If I can add too, just looking and further down the path, really the Lord is telling us to mortify the flesh, because eventually, man, it's going to come to where at the end of the day, when shit hits the fan, it's going to be a battle of who's been building in the spirit, or who's been building in the flesh, man. Because Jake, now that's you always got a carnal excuse that's always letting their flesh just pull them out to the damn, Hey, man, this, truth be told, man, it's about 90% chance you gonna take the chip, man. That's right. You haven't been. Right now's the time to
Resist.
To resist, man.
Yeah, build up resistance.
Build up resistance, like brothers going into that word mortify, meaning to kill off, man. Because if not, that flesh is still prominent, so to speak. You know, when Esau got the damn toolie to your tailor and tell you to take this chip, your flesh is going to find, like the elder brought out in the video, your flesh is going to find a way to justify yourself taking the chip, man.
Yeah.
And like you said, hey, the flesh is going to lead you. It's going to literally lead you to destruction, man. You're going to take the chip.
And that's the importance, man, of leading yourself.
That's right.
Back to the premise of the lesson is lead yourself, man. Go ahead, bro.
You just
break it down.
Okay, this is Second Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1, going into basically cutting off the flesh. It says, having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit. Because you got filthy weight or the flesh bring about evil spirits. You know, so you got to basically cleanse yourself for that, man. How you do that? You basically, you become submerged in this word, man.
Right.
You know, and that's what the word baptized means. The word baptized means to be submerged in water. So you got to submerge yourself in this truth, in this word, man, in the doctrine.
And if I could say too, because the flesh leads to justification. The flesh is all about justification. The most prideful people in the world, they always have an excuse on why to justify themselves.
That's right.
All right. So the spirit, if you're in the spirit, you ain't gonna look for justification. What are you gonna look for? You're gonna look for correction. I'm not gonna justify myself. I was wrong. How do I correct that? That's what you're gonna think in the spirit. But if you're carnal, you're gonna always give a reason why you did it. Well, the reason why I did it was because of this, or well, it was because of this, or because of that.
But
yeah, it's always a but. They missing the whole point of the counseling, the reproof, and the correction. You know, to establish their perspective was of the flesh.
Their will.
That's all they're doing is just establishing that my perspective was the flesh. So there's no need to justify yourself for the flesh.
That's it.
If you're wrong, you're just wrong.
That's right.
That's it. You don't have to come with a whole fucking a paragraph on why you did it. It was still wrong in the first place. And that goes to show you that you didn't hear the whole premise of what was being said to you because you're of the flesh. So mortifying the flesh will allow you to see your faults so you can correct them. And that's what the Lord is just trying to do.
That's right. And that's why you have the brothers too. That's in that spirit. You got to realize that the spirit of the Lord speaks through men, man. You know, a lot of times I hear you, man. You know, then they still do the opposite of what you told them, not realizing, bro, the Lord is actually speaking to you, trying to tell you how you're supposed to move, man.
It's the Lord telling you.
It's the Lord telling you.
But Jake, look at the man.
That's what it is. They're not spirit. A spiritual man.
Yep.
Wow, that brother told me that. Okay, damn. Right.
They would rather, you know, Yahweh Shai tell them themselves or Apostle Hart. Well, you ain't gonna have that. You're gonna have certain other spiritual brothers around you to tell you, man. And if you don't see the spirit of Yahweh Shai within that man, you ain't gonna take it for a value.
That's right.
You're gonna neglect it, and you're gonna find that excuse to promote the flesh. That's what you're gonna do, and you're gonna become more and more entangled with the affairs of the flesh because you gave that excuse. You're not leading yourself right.
That's right.
Okay. You have more, bro?
Yeah, I finished the verse, so I'll start back. Second Corinthians 7:1. Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of the Most High. So it's all about becoming perfect, man. Now, of course, we're not perfect now. You know, we're gonna slip up and fall, but it's a process, man. You know, daily it's a process. We're constantly trimming away at the old man, trimming up. You don't cut the flesh off in one damn day. It's a process, man. Like you mentioned earlier, the Most High is looking for that effort in that mind frame of a brother that's willing to do that, man. Not always, we said, always got an excuse, trying to justify himself, you know, all because he want to pleasure the flesh, man. You got to constantly mortify the deeds of the flesh, man, daily, man. You know, it's all about becoming perfect in the spirit.
I got you. This Ecclesiastes 7:5. Justify not thyself before the Lord, and boast not of thy wisdom before the king. You know, when you know the Lord is showing you your flaws, don't give an excuse.
That's right.
Don't justify yourself before the Lord. Because when you justify yourself before the man, remember that Yahweh Shema Shai gave the man the words to give to you. So it wasn't the man speaking. Like if I ask this brother for counsel and you give me counsel and I go do the total exact opposite, that's me doing the total exact opposite of what the Lord told you to do was best for me, man. And then when it don't work out, then the brother be like, yo, why didn't you do this in the first place?
Right.
You know, then you're gonna justify yourself, man. And that's what Jake be doing. You see these guys, you look at Element, man, he got the justification demon on. All these guys that fall out, man. Even these guys that's fake doing the work.
Right.
You know, they doing the work out of strife and contention. You know, that's the spirit of justification. This whole time that you've been out there talking shit about the men of Great Millstone, have you even examined yourself?
Right.
Have you acknowledged any flaw within yourself and tried to purge that out? But every video that you're doing is about somebody else. You gotta check yourself, man.
That's right.
Okay? And brothers that's within Great Millstone that have that spirit on you, you gotta purge that spirit out before the Most High purge you out on the whole. And just get rid of you, man. And then you become susceptible to demons, because when you get cast out, man, all right, then you got a hell of a responsibility on your hands, man. And when you get cast out from amongst the body and you out there by yourself, man, those spirits gonna be fucking on you, man. That's right. They're gonna be trying to drop you, man, because you by yourself. So you better analyze and acknowledge how you leading yourself, man. What examples are you setting for yourself, man? Not just for brothers around you, but what are you showing yourself? You know? Are you doing things on a daily basis that's promoting spiritual growth for yourself? Right. That's promoting your relationship with Yahweh Shema Shai for yourself? Or you just being a nigga? Okay?
That's right.
So these are the things that we definitely have to analyze within ourselves so that we can become better leaders for our nation. It starts with yourself, man. Okay? You have something, bro? Or Gamal?
Yeah, I had something.
I'll go after you.
Okay, this is let's see. Proverbs 15:10. Going to you mentioned about being corrected, man. Now, a spiritual man, which tells you that in Job, if you what it say, unhappy is the man with the Most High correcteth. That's the spirit, because you understand, well, damn, I'm fucking up. And my goal is to reach that level of being perfect, man. So on that path, you're going to be corrected, man. You know, if you was perfect, hey, you'd be translated. You wouldn't even be on earth.
That's right.
All right. But we all got flaws and certain mishaps about us that, hey, the Lord going to put the spirit of somebody to call out, man. And you got to be spiritual enough to see that, man. So this is Proverbs 15:10. It says, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way. So a brother that don't like to take correction, or he can't, he can't seem to get it. He always, brothers tell him something, he's just like, yeah.
Or he going off, so he separate himself from the body, right. So don't want nobody to have to tell him. Right.
Hey, that's you going down the wrong path, man. It says, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Hey, so that's really the path of death, man. That's the path that the brother that's in that mind frame, that's where you're heading to, man. Hey, if you watching video of whoever, this ain't direct to nobody. They could be shit, right. Yeah. But hey, you gotta take heed to that, man.
When I watched the Elder Yashawamba video, I was cut. I'm not ashamed to say it, man. Yeah. Because I know that I have flaws that I gotta correct. And if you're walking in this thing and you feel as if you don't have flaws to correct, then you ain't in the right mindset, man. Because we could always be better.
Yeah, that's right.
We could always do better. We could always exalt Yahweh Shema Shai more. We could always be a better brother, more concerned.
And you know what? That don't make you weak when you admit that. Like Jay sometimes that make you weak. Like, yeah, I ain't got no flaws.
Right.
Nigga, yes you do. But that don't make you inferior.
Right.
That's a flaw. You saying
exactly.
You saying you making a statement you don't have flaw. That's a flaw. Right. That's
exactly.
pride.
Exactly. There you go. There you go.
That's the biggest flaw you can have is pride. You know, I got something real quick.
Yeah,
This is
go ahead, bro, go ahead.
Oh, was you done?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
done, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
It's Matthew 7:1. Judge not that ye be Judge not that ye be not judged. Yeah, so basically, you know, don't judge on the same matter that you might be judging or reproving another man on. You got to check yourself first to make sure that's not a quality that you are lacking in or that you're doing, you know. And that goes into what brothers are making the point about is you know, always be in the spirit of checking yourself and improving yourself. Because if you always in the spirit of pointing the finger and, you know, looking at so and so and you know just that whole spirit of watching everyone else, then you're really not watching yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you really don't know what's going on internally, because really, if you're really watching yourself, then you really not gonna I mean, of course you're gonna, you know, notice things that's going on, but really you always gonna be in the spirit of improving yourself. You're not really gonna, you know, harp on another man's mistakes like that. You know, you correct them and that's it. You ain't gonna harp on it.
Yeah, you don't harp on it. You know, and then, you know, it's a balance. Because if you're in a position of leadership, then you're going to have to, but you don't want to be excessive in it.
Yeah.
Because the scriptures say, "Look not upon only the things of thyself, but look upon the things of others." Matter of fact, I'll get it.
At the water.
No, you good, bro. That was on point what you said, because you ultimately, man, you ain't got to overly look at another.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know,
It's a balance too. Hey, I think, you know, the old, just to bring it to a base level, it's an old saying in the world: you point your fingers, 3 pointing back at you, man.
That's
So
right.
you gotta just as much, you know,
yeah.
you know what I'm
But
saying?
if you're going to make a judgment, you got to make sure that that's not you.
That's right.
You know, this is Philippians 2:4 to add to the brother. It says, "Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others." So you gotta look on yourself, but also if you're in a position of leadership, you gotta make sure you gotta watch other brothers too, man, because the scripture say you gotta take the oversight over the flock. You know, but you can't just be like fucking looking at brothers under a microscope. What they call it, micromanaging.
Yeah.
That's basically what the brother's saying.
Yeah.
You know, micromanaging brothers, man. Now, yeah, you're gonna see certain things and you're gonna speak on certain things about brothers that may not be around, you know, to see what the spirit is saying. But everything that you speak on, you're gonna say it to that brother's face eventually, man.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and that's the difference in, you know, malice and sincerity. Is when you're looking on the things of other brothers and you're like, "Hey, bro, this brother got to get his mind right, man. I'm gonna pray for him. I'm, you know, exhort him. But he got to get his mind right." And then eventually you let him know. But then if you just backbiting and you being a fucking whisperer and a murmurer,
right,
talking shit about brothers when they ain't around, then eventually, man, you're gonna have to eat them words, man. You know, and we've seen that time and time again, man. Jake be murmuring like a motherfucker, talking all kind of shit about brothers, you know, for no apparent reason. Don't say nothing to the brother,
right?
Just popping all kind of shit around the camp to brothers behind his back. And then eventually, you know, a few months to years down the line, they started going through the same shit that they was talking shit about, man. You know, because it's the spirit of malice. And these are the things that we got to purge out, man. All right. And Paul spoke highly on this, man.
Right.
The spiritual things of being a minister. You can't be a minister of Yahweh Shema Shah with malice and strife. That's why a lot of guys get kicked out the camps. Then they turn into straight up and down GMS rebukers. You know? Because
they hate getting rebuked.
They hate rebuke. They hate taking the reproof, but they be the first ones to get it.
Right.
Oh, what kind of shit is that, man?
Yeah. That's the irony of it. A lot of these scoffers, they hate a reproof, but then they get X'd out, and then their whole what I can't remember that, but he said, yeah, this is a reproof page.
That's all.
He said something like that. This is a rebuke. No, it was a rebuke
from Milwaukee.
Yeah, the dude's from Milwaukee. He said, yeah, this is a rebuke page.
Yeah, this is a GMF rebuke page.
That's crazy.
What?
So the whole page is centered around basically,
Man.
hey, that's Jake in a nutshell. I keep going though.
Time.
It says, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. Yeah, so we gotta be careful with the judgments that we make, okay? Because like the brother said, it's gonna come back around to you. Yahweh Bashim Shai is watching how you handle certain situations and you know, looking at you, whether you a hypocrite, whether you being a hypocrite or not.
That's right.
You know, because that's hypocritical is to basically get on. What's going to go into it says, and why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Yeah. Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own? So yeah, constantly observing yourself, constantly checking, your own flaws, and making sure that before you reprove in a particular situation, you want to make sure that you are blameless before you judge.
Mm-hmm.
There's a process to judgment. The scriptures don't, because a lot of people will take this and say, "Oh yeah, you're not supposed to judge." No, this is a rule for judgment.
That's right. You can't be passing judgment on brothers and you actually doing the shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta be careful, man, because it's guys that down the line they pass judgment on brothers too early in the game, and then down the line you end up needing that brother for fucking help.
Yeah,
You talked all kind of shit about him behind his back, called him this and called him that, and then when you start going through hell, that brother right there to fucking help your ass out, and you've been talking all kind of shit about the brother and didn't even repent. These are the things that Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to purge out, man. That bullshit, basically, man. Stop thinking that you always right, man. You got to know how to filter these spirits, man.
that's right.
All right? Sometimes put your hand over your mouth, man. Don't even speak on it. Like, I'm going to let the spirit work it out, man.
Mm-hmm.
That Jake be coming with these judgments, not considering that they offended in the same way. And then when Yahweh Bashim Shai correct you according to his judgments, then you don't see it how you saw the other brother. The other brother, the other thing you saw, that he going off, he just nigga, he this, he that.
Right.
But then when you start getting judged on the same thing, you don't see it like that.
Mm-hmm.
You see it like, oh no, man, it's just it's just this and that, man. Like, no, man, you was being a nigga too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got to examine. We have to examine our obedience, especially now, man. This is the time of exhortation and prophecy, man. The videos that's going out, we should be exhorting each other, and we should be prophesying against these devils, man.
That's right.
That's right.
Against America, against these other nations, against 2/3 of our people, letting them know the famine is coming, the pestilence. These are all the things that we got to be occupied in, man. Like the Elder Ratazah did a video a few months ago entitled "Be Not Weary of Exhortation."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, you can never be tired of getting encouraged too much, man.
That's right.
Tired of him speaking life into me, man.
What kind of shit is that?
He always got something motivating to say. He always trying to uplift.
Right.
This scripture say this is the exhortation that speaketh unto you.
That's right.
Use it.
Use it.
Mhm.
Got
Yeah,
it.
that's I was gonna say, Acts that. Yeah, that's scriptures in at least in Hebrews, like 13, the last, kind of near the bottom. It says to suffer the word of exhortation, man. And that word suffer means basically you look up in the Greek, it literally says to put up with. Face it, man. You gotta. I think it says to basically stand tall. You gotta just take it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that shouldn't weary you, man. But if it does, then bro, like, what's the problem? You get tired of a brother that giving you motivation, giving you a boost in the spirit.
Yeah.
Hell, shit. Hey, Paul, which our brother might get it, is Paul said, exhort more and more as you see the day approaching. Roughly paraphrasing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the spirit is on brothers to exhort more, man. Being close to that time.
I get it for you, bro.
Okay.
This is 1 Thessalonians 4:1. Furthermore, then we beseech you, brethren, and exhort you by the Lord Yahweh Shai, that as ye have received of us, ye ought to walk and to please the Most High, ye would abound more and more.
It would abound more and more. You know, and how you abound means to basically go, to grow upward, to abound. How you do that, man? By doing things pleasing unto Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man, which is spiritual things, which brings it right back to the topic, man. Not always trying to justify yourself, man. Yeah,
That's right.
Trying to make a case for the flesh, man. That's not pleasing unto Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. That's right. That's Satan.
That's right, bro.
You know.
I got one more.
Go ahead.
So Hebrews 3:13. But exhort one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin.
That's right. Yeah, daily, man. Daily. Hey, that goes to the video. That's why you see more videos being put up on exhorting, man. Exhorting and prophecy, man.
Yeah.
You know, more and more as the day approaches, man. Because we're gonna need that extra boost moving forward, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. You starting to see, man, brothers gonna be putting up excessive amount of videos cussing out these black ass women, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Who gives a goddamn, man? We already know that they already predestined for they predestined for damnation.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You know? So who gives a good goddamn how hard you can cuss a bitch out, man?
Beating a dead horse.
Right, that horse is right, bro.
You know, they still gonna do what the hell they want to do. They still gonna get abortions to city girls. You know? They still gonna do all the nigga shit that they was doing before you fucking blew a head gasket over their goddamn ass.
Yeah.
Right.
So why put your energy into it, man? You knew these things. Our energy should be towards exhorting, admonishing, prophesying, man.
That's right.
Edification, the spirit of edification. All right. So we get a couple more precepts and close it out. If brothers had anything,
I got one more.
come go ahead, bro.
All right, this one. You got one? Come on.
Nah, you go.
Okay, this is Proverbs 4. All right, it's one of my favorite scriptures. Proverbs 4:25. Let thy eyes look right on.
Hey, that's the spirit, because I had that one on deck. The spirit.
Mhm.
I knew the elder Ratazar, he always bring his precept out, man. Read it again from the top.
Yep, Proverbs 4:25. Let thy eyes look right on, and let thy eyelids look straight before thee.
That's right, man. Meaning focus on your path, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Look at your steps, man. See what obstacles Yahweh Shema Shai have before you, so that you can overcome your hurdles, man. And don't get caught up in this whole fucking thinking that this truth is all about gossiping and talking shit about the brother that's in the war with you, man.
Right.
All right. That's not what it's about. All right. Now you're going to see certain things spiritually, and you're going to talk about certain things spiritually that pertain to other brothers. But at the end of the day, when that's all said and done, you got to get right back to your path.
That's right.
You got to get right back to your walk. Even when you make that analysis, you know, soon as you make that analysis, the first thing you do is pray so that you won't get caught up in those shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the Lord to give you the spirit to judge aright, and to give that brother the spirit to get over his hurt. So when you make analysis on other situations, you got to come right back to that straight and skinny for yourself. Go ahead, bro.
Yep, verse 26. Ponder the path of thy feet.
Ponder, meaning think, man. Meditate. That's why the scriptures say, meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly, that thy profiting may appear unto all.
That's
Okay?
right.
So ponder upon the path of your own feet, man. Where are you fucking up at? Why are you going through what you're going through?
That's right.
The Lord is obviously the Lord is trying to show you something. He's trying to get you to understand something in your situation. But it's up to you as a man of Yahweh Shema Shai and as a servant to understand what the Lord is trying to tell you. Okay? Because if the Lord came and told us, brothers, directly what our problem is, hey, this truth would be easy as I don't know what.
Right.
Because he just coming straight from the heavens, like, you got to stop doing this, you need to stop doing that, stop doing this, start doing this, start doing this, start doing that, and I'm helping. Well, that's easy.
That's right.
But when you start catching hell and you trying to figure out what it is, and it's up to you to spiritually discern what's happening to you. And the only way you can spiritually discern it is by getting closer to Yahweh Shema Shai, so that he can manifest what's going on with you. That's what men get caught up at, but they ain't pondering the path of their feet. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Yep. It says, and let all thy ways be established.
Let all your ways be established, man. All right. Remember, the scriptures say being rooted and established in the faith.
That's right. That's right.
It was that Colossians 2.
Yeah, Colossians 2.
The brother, the priest Kasha Kwala, he likes to bring that out, man. All right, the beloved brother, man. He loves to bring that precept out. So it's about being rooted, okay, properly rooted. So that what? So that when that wind comes, according to Revelation 7, when that holy hell comes, you have a proper rooting system spiritually to where that wind won't overtake you. And you won't look for an excuse for the flesh.
Right.
You won't look for a cop out, man. You ready to go all the way through the wind. Okay? Go ahead, bro.
That's right. Last verse 27. Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil.
That's right. Remove your foot from evil. Okay? So lead yourself. Lead yourself, man. All right. Now you got camp heads and leaders within your camp, and you follow the orders that's spiritual. But other than that, that's as far as brothers gonna be able to lead you. Spiritual things. But you gotta lead yourself spiritually too, man.
That's right.
That inward man should be leading you daily, man. That new man. Don't let the old man lead you, man. Let that new man lead you, man. If you're going back to your old ways, you gotta rebuke that shit, man. You got to rebuke them old ways, man. You got to let that new man, guide you through the spirit.
That's right.
So with that, we're going to wrap it up. And I hope you brothers were edified. Until the next time, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Also, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, salutations, much love to the elect men, women, and children. Until the next time we say, Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.